into it, knowing that Bro couldn't play it, and
it is a very,
banned.
it is always a very concerning thing when the blue side first ban Ezreal comes through. But that is a sign of our Ezreal player is not one of the Ezreal players, and it is going to get nerfed, so you can just weather the storm through this patch at least. I think it's still going to be viable, but it's definitely not going to be as busted as it is now. But that's a first sign here for BNK that they're not planning on playing any scaling Ezreal pick. They want the action, they want it fast, they want it early. Rumble's gone, Renekton's gone. Vi should follow. Vi should follow.
That's not Vi.
It looks like a
Vi Dwani.
Vi first pick here for BNK, but they want the Ashe instead. With the Ezreal banned, I feel like you don't necessarily have to prioritize this Ashe higher, but it is Teddy.
Yeah, the Ashe is still pretty strong, and as you mentioned, I think they want to take it away from Teddy as well, so they'll do that. And we'll see if Sponge wants to hop onto the Vi, and if he doesn't, then you get a chance to pick it anyway for Raptor.
Well, they're going to pick Corki here instead, and then Sponge is going to lock the Shyvana, so that question was answered pretty quick, huh? If he was going to play it again. He gives us the smile. All right, we'll see how it plays out. And as you can see, win rate very low, very niche pick here, considering the entirety of the LCK really only played this week. So Vi is open. They could go for something like a Vi Ahri setup, or they can go Lucian, grab the Leona here early. Not going to grab Braum, just want to take the Leona away. And you have a really strong bottom powerhouse here. Grabbing the Gnar here, blind, is still fairly safe. And you know Frog, without his Renekton, probably not going to punish you too hard with any ranged picks, just based on what we've seen from Frog. You know, he's one of our weaker top laners. Looks like he will go to the Jace here as a response. So we will have that top lane all locked up.
It's a lot of poke already. If you look at those three, and the Shyvana's played correctly, which maybe Sponge is ready to do it again. You have insane poke from Shyvana and Jace, and even Corki. Not much of a front line. Actually, zero front line. Shyvana does not count.
No, she does not count.
So they'll have to find something in the support role for sure for Plata, maybe like a Rel or something.
Yeah, I think that's probably your best bet. And if you look at this ban, I think Vi still works on this comp very well because you have the Leona follow-up, you have the Ashe Arrow follow-up. I think you probably just want to take that one away. They will. And on the side of BNK, might be looking at supports. They take away the Senna, which does give you Ornn as a tanky frontline as well if they had been able to lock that one up. So I do like that ban quite a lot. It is a tougher lane to play into the Ashe Leona, but still just don't want to give them that scaling opportunity because they already have so much late game damage and poke scaling here around objectives. And the next ban here gets a little bit more interesting. Perhaps a Viego or maybe even a Xin Zhao could be the angle if you're still focused on jungle. Zyra, not really a dive champion, but there's a lot of CC that you could follow up with, especially in the bottom lane if she was allowed to be played.
Yeah. I do wonder what Raptor will eventually hop onto alongside of what they have, as Closer has a big smile on his face. Maybe discussing what he's going to play into the Corki in this one. I feel like he's got a lot of ideas because a lot of the champs in his pool can do well into the Corki if he gets support from the jungle especially.
They still have, you know, if there's going to be a Lucian pick, it's still up. So they could answer the Corki with that. If Corki gets flex bottom, which would be quite weird in this draft, they could, you know, move the Lucian bottom as well and try to do something different with this Ashe. I don't know, but looking at the Rakan lock in here, you're just not going to know what that bottom pick is. There's a lot of scaling picks left up, and the Rakan is not the tank you were looking for, unfortunately, in this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, at least in this meta, he builds Warmogs, I guess, but he's definitely not the tankiest.
Yeah, I guess if they want to, they can just play Lucian mid here. I mean, the Ashe setup in the bottom lane is fine. Probably not going to be flexing that one top into a Jace anyways. And Lee Sin's going to come through. It's just going to be Lee Sin to Leah. So very much a ton of single target pick. That's what BNK do. They found their way to it in another draft here, even with the Vi ban, even with the Sejuani ban. And it's just going to be an extremely squishy, extremely high damage glass cannon composition here for the side of DRX. But there's not a whole lot of setup for the bullet time. You know, I guess the bullet time in itself could be like your tank. It's like, you can't come over here because I'm bullet timing for a second. But then you're going to get hit by a Leona ult, and then you're going to get seismic storm. You're going to get arrowed. This draft for DRX looks like a mess.
Yeah, it just looks like the entire team is doing that. Like, even Rakan, I can see, even from behind, he like goes in, he's like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here right away. And then the rest of the team is just trying to run away and trying to kite it out and poke them away from you. I only work to a certain extent and pretty much only from ahead.
I almost feel like they could have picked Poppy for jungle here as well for BNK, and it would have been strong as well. Like, there was so many options, but man, the single target pick here into zero tank is a concern. And the poke doesn't sell me for DRX that they're going to be able to keep the distance on this team. I think if BNK are indecisive, you know, and very slow, and, you know, end up being like, yeah, I don't know. Well, don't drop it.
Whose face is on the train?
I think it's Clear's. I couldn't tell for sure.
Leading the charge through the sandstorm and reused the sun. And it's a very nice sign.
I'm worried, Valdez, about, you know, how this one's going to go. I think the DRX fan's very optimistic, and you kind of have to be as a DRX fan right now, but this is top tier. The Gnar pick was safe, and there's no front line here. A lot of poke. I think Sponge has a big role to play in this game if they're going to win it.
Maybe he'll build tank. Not sure about that one, but either way, guys, we're going on the rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Alrighty.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
You know, I remember Demonic Embrace, that item?
Yes.
That's not in the game anymore. Would have been good in this situation, I feel.
Yeah. It's would have been very nice.
You and I talked a lot yesterday off camera about the Shojin build that is very common here in Korea, so Frog is in trouble.
Yeah. And Duro will take that 100% of the time because he's got Hex Flash. And now Frog could be in some threat, especially if Raptor does go up there.
Exactly, because Raptor is a jungler who can make an impact early in the game, and Sponge is not, so that's a little concerning that he's not going to have Flash. We'll talk more about the Shojin build if he goes it, I guess. But over here, it's just a early aggressive setup here for Pleta. Doesn't want to get ashed. They're both going to path bottom. So lack of Flash not necessarily going to matter as much. Raptors' first Lee Sin game this season.
Mm-hmm. Definitely does feel like Lee Sin has been very fringe, you know, outside of
Lucid.
Who's the one guy who's really picking it up consistently. I feel like everybody's kind of tried their hand at it at times. I think like Canyon maybe has a game and the owner here and there. But it just feels very much feast or famine at times, especially if you get ahead. It's like, oh, I kicked him away and then I didn't really do anything. But I do feel like Raptor, especially in his current form, can make good use out of it as the Ashe, speaking of which, BNK are making very good use out of that.
Yeah. Well, that's level 1. That's a cleanse. It's going to be very hard to play Misfortune in this draft because when you use your ultimate, you are stationary. And there are a lot of CC that can hit you in long range, like Ashe Arrow and Solar Flare and Zenith Blade. And, you know, maybe a Gnar that's coming on top of you with a little crush action. But we'll see if this works out. As you know, I've been on the space for a lot of these draft gap and draft danger, let's say, kind of games, and I'm looking at it on live on my PGM right in front of me, and I'm like, this seems rough. It's down cleanse already. This is not a winning lane early for the MF.
Yeah. The Rakan itself, the pick, I feel like Pleta is extremely confident on this pick. It just feels like, you know, you get some healing in the lane, you can get a little bit of harass, but outside of some knockups later on and then potentially setting up your Misfortune and your poke for the team, you don't provide too much else. At least they find some hard engage. It's really good hard engage with the Rakan, obviously, but you've got pretty much no one else, and everybody's going to be standing behind you. So, like I said before, I feel like they really need to get ahead, and if they get ahead, it solves a lot of their problems where from ahead you can set up plays where you're poking and you don't really need a front line as much, and You can use vision to control space.
Topside Prio, they're coming over here and trying to push Yehu and maybe even contest the scuttle. They're not going to get the scuttle, but Yehu may have to flash. No. Well, yeah, okay, he does commit to it because he maybe could have just gone to the right there, but...
Yeah. I don't know, like, Raptor,
How about that?
I feel like Raptor maybe could have gone really aggressive, but he backed away because they didn't know 100% where Sponge was. But then after he backed away, Yehu flashed.
Yeah.
So I was like, he should flash if, like, Raptor's going to follow flash and get, like, a crazy thing going.
Yeah, if he flashes and gets the Q on you, even if you do flash, you're doomed, so he wants to get out of there, but he just wasn't there.
Just very safe from Yehu as... Raptor's going to go in onto the Shyvana. He's going to hop away. Yehu nearby. Valkyrie over the wall as there's the flash from Raptor now.
Closer has no mana, so he wasn't really able to do anything there. And Shyvana doesn't need mana and will do a lot to you long term if she's on top of you and has a Corki with her. So we'll have to be respectful there. As Clear, just putting the pressure on here range-wise against this Jace. Frog is out of mana and doesn't have flash, but I don't think he's really in any danger. Clear doesn't have level 6 just yet, but Gnar pushing a Jace out of lane, that was your counter pick. Does feel not great. Take it away, Valdez.
Yes, I'm very ready. Yeah, they're pushing down here. Teddy's almost got his cleanse back, so that's nice. It does feel like a lot of our games, we've discussed this a decent amount, but a lot of our games have kind of slowed down. It feels like in the LCK we've kind of taken a little back seat. A lot of teams are trying to draft more scaling and try to play for the later stages of the game, and so we don't get too much action. Like earlier this week, I think it was, we had, might have actually been Sponge. Somebody got a POG 003 from the jungle. I think it was Sponge.
May have been.
On Italy? That sounds right.
I can't remember.
Yeah, just like no kills, 3 assists, POG. And then we had another one yesterday, is 006 from the jungle, POG. And it's just like, yeah, not a lot of action.
They just got
team fighting.
They got the dragons. Was kind of the angle there and relieve some pressure.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all you need to do. As Closer's gonna flash.
Yeah, I guess the slow, and Yehu is gonna sidestep everything, but I don't think he can sidestep his death. His first blood will come through. Raptor does pick up the kill, somewhat unfortunately, but at least he'll be able to use that to get fed and get that first item early so he can be more of an impact here in this early game.
It's just been the top lane has been going very well. Obviously now Frog is starting to get back some control after that first back, and his longswords come through. Played steel caps for Clear, but he's getting a little bit more control. Bottom side has been in control of Henna and Duro. So mid lane's where all the action's been at this game, and Closer is putting this threat on. This flashes forward here to get the slow, and that's all, that's all he needs.
It's really cute, actually. He gets the big rock, which is the one that has the minor slow, but he uses the Q first while he's on the worked ground, and then flashes for the Q flash and to make sure that it becomes a slow. Very good understanding of the Taliyah mechanics from Closer.
Very clean there. I think Yehu just not really expecting that level of aggression there. Raptor has level 6 and has his ultimate now, so could even look for some more pick potential if this Jace overextends on the top side. He's got a ward there, but Raptor making the plays. Did have to flash earlier after a bit of a whoopsie, but was able to get Yehu's flash early. Just extremely proactive playing with Closer, like we were talking about. The mid-jungle synergy here feels quite strong between these two right now.
By the way, did get confirmation from Gaihan that it was actually Sponge 003 on the Italy. So
there you go.
I was correct. And it was against Bro.
It was a Bro game where things don't happen.
Bro and Brew.
Yeah.
What's your Bro and Brew right now, Wolf?
Just a ball of
just
water.
Some water?
Yeah.
I would have done the same, but I forgot my water. So now I'm just waterless. But thankfully it's not a Bro and Brew situation.
Well, I mean, it feels like we might be heading towards that, but we're not there yet. And no Bro in this series, so.
Yeah.
Just going to be a Brew and Brew as these comps are brewing. Okay, Fleta.
Getting on in. They got through the barrier. And that was it. He did flash away, did Fleta afterwards, just to save himself.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how you could set up a bullet time in this comp and get a barrier. And
uh-oh, Duro's level 6.
Uh-oh, Raptor's here too. Teddy is going to cleanse.
He's going to cleanse and flash to get away from that one.
No more summoners in the bottom lane.
Meanwhile, Meganar comes in. Frog trying to fight against this. The wall, he's going to miss. And now, Shyvana's getting in there. Sponge looking to take this trade against Raptor, who was very deep in the enemy jungle. And now, trying to go back in. He's got Closer. Hops over to Closer and lives. And Sponge going to throw one more E, but he's just baited into it. It's a double kill for Closer. Excellently played from BNK.
Yeah, a bit of a whoopsie there. Thought he saw blood on the water. Sees an angle onto Raptor, but Lee Sin is just so mobile. And if you're sitting on a pickaxe at this point in time, you don't really have the damage. You're not sitting on your Leandries just yet. You don't do that much with your E. It's still a big boom damage there, but Raptor comes in for the steal, and Sponge is like, all right, I'm not letting you have this. I'm ulting on you. Gets kicked away, Flash is good, and then uses Yehu to taxi away with the safeguard. And Sponge is just like, well, I'm dead, so maybe I'll go for an E. It's not enough damage. Down he goes. No summers for the bottom lane. No Flash for Sponge. No transformation for Sponge. No glory here. 1,500 gold, the lead for BNK as we crest 10 minutes.
Yep. Closer's got red buff now. This first streak maybe goes in the hands of the Shyvana, who I always want to call Sejuani for some reason. It's almost like we get Sejuani every single day. Yeah, who's going to be forced to flash again. That's the second time Duro has traded flashes with a solo laner.
Yeah.
And he will love doing that every time.
Yeah, he's got Hex Splash, and he's Leona. He can engage from a long ways away anyways. And now really long way away with that flash. And Yehu feels like just got his flash back up. And now it's gone again. And with that, that's the Dragon going away from the Shyvana here. As Clear is just like, nice counter matchup. He's maintained his CS, but he is just constantly putting the pressure on, constantly using his Gnar bars to annoy Frog. And I mean, Gnar can win this matchup. It's not unwinnable, but
well, yeah, who's gonna dash into the Taliyah? There's the knockup as he's got Sponge nearby, nearly able to beat him. Looks kind of crazy at first, but somehow works out for him.
Raptor almost able to trade that back, trying for it now.
Oh, the kick is very nice. The angle here, Sponge is getting caught. He doesn't have flash. Just now, the charm comes in, and we've got an MF, but he gets stunned by the S arrow, and Teddy can't follow up. That's so unfortunate for him. Excellent arrow comes in from Henna, and that's just gonna be another one team fight for DRX.
Yeah, I mean, MF is trying to do things, has the ultimate. Teddy's coming over. He just gets stunned. He didn't even ult, so at least he gets to keep that one. But if had he ulted, it would have been just denied by the Sun as well, as we've talked about that a lot when we talked about the draft, and we'll see if it plays out that way in team fights. It's just DRX have been so close to many of these plays, as Clear's going to miss.
Yeah, nice sidestep from Frog with that extra movement speed, but he's still going to respect, especially with Raptor showing here on Vision. And Closer up at the
ready.
top side. Can Frog get out of this one? He's got Sponge nearby. But the wave has been stopped. Frog is trying to clear it, but there's one minion that tanks a turret shot. The knockup comes in, and it's clean once again from the mid and jungle duo of BNK.
We'll sacrifice some gold here in the mid lane, and Yehu should be able to get some split plate gold, so they're at least able to get something back here. Duro just holding down the fort, but Clear is also going to get plate gold on the top side. And Sponge has to come over here. It feels like every time I see a Shyvana game, the Shyvana is just cleaning up the top laner's wave, but not actually able to save the top laner from any disasters. Yehu going in here, definitely not ideal, but he has Sponge, so it looks like the idea is maybe we bait them. Sponge does a lot of damage when he transforms, but Closer just backs away. Raptor has a control ward here, so Sponge in trouble. And then watch Duro going forward here, gets the Zenith Blade, and then Teddy stunned as he drops down his W. He's trying to rain on them, but then gets stunned afterwards, and that's all he can offer. And then Frog. Yeah, I mean, it's a good flash of the E from Raptor.
Yeah.
But it's just outnumbered.
You can only dodge so much, right? It's like play safe top. You know, I don't even think the trade early on was so bad as, well, the last arrow was good. And thankfully for Ashe, the cooldown's pretty low, especially as we get along in levels. Some items come across, not a big deal, but yeah, only so much that Frog can do. Already struggling a bit, as you mentioned, in the Jace versus Gnar matchup. And now he's just getting bullied by two members on the enemy team that aren't the guy he's playing against.
So he did build Spear of Shojin here first, which you and I aren't super keen on because it means that you're not doing that much damage in fights just yet. So he's...
Yep, here we go again. The Lee Sin kick into the Talia, who just easily is able to throw some rocks down and get the extra stun in. It is just so oppressive. And from ahead, it looks almost unfair.
Yeah, it's just... Where's the cross map too? Like, there's no great target here. Henna has flash, is just playing. It was playing super respectfully, super far back. And then in the bottom lane, Yahoo's going to be able to have some friends here as he tries to take out this turret, but it's going to be Closer who gets this one first. So first brick goes to the side of BNK. This takes 3 people to take down, so there's just no other pressure on the map. I mean, DRX got a ton of vision in the jungle and around the dragon that hasn't spawned yet in return, so there's some trade back here. There's some small victory, but fortunately, the bigger win here is BNK, who have full map control, now going to crash this wave and force out Teddy's ultimate right before this dragon. And, I mean, you got a turret bottom side. The Corki is heading towards that first item. Isn't quite there yet, but, I mean, look at Closer. 2-0 and 3 as his Archangel's completed.
And Raptor's been everywhere, man. He's got 7k damage, most in the game. Kind of makes sense. This is kind of like the Lee Sin and solo queue experience where he gets that first kill and you're just like, oh boy, here we go. Especially on the Korean server, he's just going to take over the game, and it's exactly what Raptor has done. Doesn't happen very often in Pro, but it has happened here. He has a lot of ways to play around his team where you've got great gank assists in mid, in bot, obviously, even Gnar sometimes, able to set it up. And he's been very aggressive with his lead, which you always love to see.
Yeah, you can see it here. Lane proximity in mid, we talked about it earlier. That's where all the action was early. And, you know, now that Closer has been the recipient of some of these advantages as well, you know, it's a 4,000 or nearly 4,000 gold lead here for BNK. But the bigger issue is it's not a lead for DRX. And if they got massively ahead, we talked about how their big burst damage could just be enough to where you don't need a front line, you just kill the enemy champions very easily and you kind of just roll over the game. Not to be the case here.
So normally we wouldn't be excited about Ocean Soul, but it's BNK in the lead against a poke comp, right? As Closer knows he's in the bush. He's queuing the bush before he even sees it. And they're just waiting for him. And here comes the rest of the team as a massive Gnar ultimate. Oh my god, this Wombo combo is disgusting. As everybody just gets lined up and taken down.
Well, with this very brittle and rickety draft here for DRX, as you can see, as BNK have clearly shown, you know, it's not very sturdy. It is very behind, and I think that DRX are most likely thinking about game 2 right now. Like there was a chance, and we're like, oh man, they're behind. This comp doesn't have a ton of synergy. It's very vulnerable to CC. You know, there's a lot of issues here.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe though, you know, maybe a big mistake comes through for BNK, and maybe they could find the way. No, probably not.
It kind of looks like DRX were trying to set up for that as well.
Yeah, no, it's like BNK here are like, okay, no where he is, calling for the TP. Closer shoves him in, and
nice flash.
Great flash, insane Gnar here from Clear at the very tail end of it. And the craziest thing about this to me is too that the Shyvana, you know, is the one trying to set this up, but
oh boy,
yeah. I mean, Arrow. There's a lot of CC, Valdez.
It's a lot of stuff.
But the Shyvana maybe should let the rest of the team come over a little bit first, maybe have a little bit more setup before you go on that one, because your damage is going to be long-term just sending out a lot of fire breath.
Well, that's your front line, and right now the wallets are just so huge that it just doesn't matter. Like, BNK are just able to invade so aggressively as a team. Now looking for the kill on a frog, as there it is. Raptor went so deep for that one. May have to pay as the MF ultimate is going to get him. I thought maybe he'd be able to hold on.
Teddy gets one. They're on the board, Valdez.
Yeah.
It already wasn't a perfect game because that turret went down and some grubs went over, but yeah, I mean, you get one back. I mean, he's got BT, so MF with a BT, that's scary. He's got a lot of shields.
Yeah.
Look at that shield he's got.
It exists.
He's a frontline now, Valdez. Watch out.
Hey, it just got a little bit bigger. You know, he did some attacking, above 50% health.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, well, okay, there's your Arden Gauge. Gonna find Closer. He's just gonna stand and deliver as the rest of the team, yeah, who's going in. to try to get that kill. Not going to happen as here comes the Gnar. That's another kill going over to Clear, who is 3-0 and 4. And yeah, BNK are just kind of flattening them here.
Yeah, it's 15 kills to 1. We haven't really seen too many one-sided games like this. Even when D+ had that crazy win over Genji, it wasn't quite like, you know, this big of a kill diff at 19 minutes. You know, it wasn't like this this snowball. It was quite snowball. You know, it was a quite big win. Same with their win over Hanwha in the early part of the season. But I besides those two games, I can't really remember a game that was this many kills this early and just such a one-sided affair. As Sponge goes in to promptly flash out. And then Raptor, you know, he's having fun. He gets the kick, just has enough damage to Risen to use the second Q to execute, but he does not have his safeguard cooldown as Letta.
Well, we've seen that before.
Wait?
Letta might actually die, if not, if the entire rest of the team. Oh, he's dead! Raptor from the jungle. The kick comes in, and he lands the Q. Man, this guy is a pretty good Lee Sin player, isn't he? The knockup comes in, and the Dragon will not get away. Really nice solar flare here as well on a Yehu. Right now, they're just having a lot of fun. They're just throwing abilities at the enemies, and it's working out. As Henna gonna have to flash out of this, but I'm pretty sure he's okay with that.
Yeah, you know, when some of the CC gets used to kill other champions, that's when Teddy's like, you know what? It's my time. It's bullet time. And then he scares them away, but the fight is already won, as it turns out. But at least there wasn't any CC to stop him from doing that. Solar Flare was already used. Yeah, the gold difference here is immense. It is even Duro's like 1,000 gold. They're going to get Baron off of this. I mean, you look at some of these plays, and you're like, oh, wait, man, Closer, he's crazy. He can't be up like that. Actually, if the whole team is there, yeah, he definitely can. And there just isn't really a lot of CC. There's not a lot of lockdown. They could try to use this Rakan to get a pretty fed Talia, and then kind of ends up being disastrous as, yeah, I mean, you got him off the Weaver's wall. The problem is now he's on top of you, and the team is coming. Yeah. And you just don't have any vision in your jungle. You don't know where anyone is. Yeah, like, there's a control ward there. You just don't know where anybody is, so you can't really do anything as Raptor hits the Q. The arrow comes through, and then they decide to make shove. Like, it's a pick comp. Guess what? It's a BNK draft. It's a pick comp.
Oh no, we missed one. We saw the other 18, but number 19, yeah, we gotta hide that one from the kids. This inhibitor is gonna go down, and I think the base is going to fall very soon. BNK, not a team that's known for waiting around and not doing much. Even when they're losing very badly, they will just run at their enemies.
That's true, and they're gonna run towards the Nexus real quick here with the Baron buff. And Clear's got Gnar. No ult yet.
Yeah, just waiting for it. We get the zoom-ins as well. A bit of Shyvana damage, you know. Corky's trying to do stuff, but Yehu's just going to get stunned up, and he can't do anything. Raptor's got the angle on Sponge, and he's just going to get knocked back here by Closer as well. BNK very much playing Ring Around the Rosie. Very fun time for them. Not very fun for DRX as, yep, final kill just go to Teddy, but it's still a massive slaughter from the side of BNK here in game one.
A Raptor pops out of his seat and walks out so fast. It's like he just almost, he's feeling himself, you know? He's just like, I don't even need the standing ovation. I'm just out of here. I've done everything that I need to do in this game. I've put the team on my back that we carried, and Ryu was like, I shouldn't have died to that bullet time that one time. Was very close to 0 deaths. I can imagine the space right now being like, is it about the Shyvana pick, or is it really just about everything else? Do we go into the Shyvana Sponge narrative, or we don't do it? Because it's it felt like maybe you could make some arguments about how he played some of those early games and how the Lee Sin was way more impactful, but it felt like overall it was also just a bit of a team diff. Better coordination from the side of BNK. They love these comps. They love the chain CC. And that CC, did they chain in the bottom lane with that Gnar play?
Yep.
It was a draft gap, and it shows.
It definitely does. I think aggressive junglers that get ahead and play aggressive jungle champions into Shyvana will always feast. And we saw a little bit of that here as well. As BNK, just a almost perfect game number one. We'll see what they have in store for us for the rest of the series and if DRX can come back. But guys, we're going to take a break and have the space. We'll be right back.
나 메가 끝나기 전에 공 한번 볼게. 이거 웬만하면.
오케이. 라칸 공만 할게. 라칸 봐도 돼. 리퍼 10초, 리퍼 10초.
타워 쳐봐. 그렇게 볼게.
베이스 딜 못해 지금.
시바나.
시바나. 내 라인 끊는다.
나 살려줘 제발.
어우.
테디 죽여, 테디.
야 뭐냐?
내가 죽어?
Poke. You know, you're like, I'm going to be way far away from them. They can't engage on me. Well, if they're active enough, which they were, you're going to find yourself behind. I think we're going to see a big change up here on blue side for the draft of DRX. Vi is banned early this time. I think that is a wise choice. They don't have to ban the Ezreal this time since they are on blue side.
Do they ban Lee Sin as well? I mean, seems like BNK are slowly unlocking more and more options. You know, I'm not saying that Raptor is, you know, the second coming of Lucid or anything, but maybe into this team specifically, if you want to eliminate some aggressive junglers.
I wonder if BNK will ban Ashe here. If this is not an Ezreal ban, which I don't think it should be necessarily, but if it's not, you know, there's some funky stuff that can go on. They do ban it, in fact, even though BNK banned it on blue side themselves in the previous set. Will be the Ashe. So this is an angle where you could go Corki, but Lucian is still available, right? Closer can definitely play that. And otherwise here, you know, you're looking at maybe like a safe blind pick. Like, I hope it's not B1 Gnar, but it could be, as the Corki will be the option they index into here. Again, we could just see a slam lock of like Talia. Oh, it is the B1 Gnar. I was gonna say we could just see the slam lock of Talia Lee Sin. But they'll take the Corki themselves, it looks like. So BNK gonna play a very different game here in game 2.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to, but I feel like most teams in the LCK just say, well, Corki's really strong, so just based on this tier list, I think we might have to select it, and they will.
It would be really interesting if Clear locked the Jace and then was like, I'll show you how it's done. I don't know if he necessarily will. He doesn't have to. Maokai is available, and Raptor's going to pick that one up, which does put the Jace stocks much higher. Jace Maokai, a very common Korean combo. You root people and then blow them up. Very strong in the lane.
Sounds pretty strong.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They can't move, and then you shoot them.
Yeah, really helps when you're trying to land skill shots if they're not moving. Tristana, it's been, you know, some players slowly going back to it, especially if they don't want to go for something that technically counters the Corki, and if they just also want to get a mid laner that does a similar thing to the Corki.
He's 2 and 4 on the pick. Has really struggled to find success with it. Has played it as much as he has played Corki, including that last game at 6 and 6. Now it's 7 and 7. Ivern, this does feel like a champ that Sponge, you know, can play into and play around double AD carry with. And if the game slows down, and since BNK are not playing dive, at least not traditional dive so far in this draft, you should be able to get some value out of this. I like this pick. Much more than Shyvana at the moment for how this draft is shaking up.
Yeah, I almost want to see Leona again for Duro. I don't think they're going to do it because they want to get the best counter for Gnar right away. But I feel like Clear, he's got a pretty wide champion pool, and even if they ban like Ken and Jace, he could have found something. But, you know, just picking up the Kennen, definitely very safe.
See where Zeri does fall in this draft. Both Hannah and Teddy are very good Zeri players. We are looking for a second AD carry for both of these teams in the bottom lane. Could ban it away, but, you know, whoever, it's kind of a game of chicken sometimes with the Zeri. The red side team has pick prio, and then they can save the counter pick for support. So usually the blue side team has to ban it if there is going to be a team who bans it. The Caitlyn ban kind of says, well, you know, that's one of the answers, so that's gone. Are you going to ban Zeri now? And this is quite common. See if they do, in fact, do that, or if they want to play like Ziggs, because Ziggs Tristana with the Ivern actually is quite good. So if they give the Zeri and then pick the Ziggs, that'd be a cool strat.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good shout. I mean, Teddy and DRX were one of the teams that actually played it really well. The Ziggs, you know, moved it around the map, was getting a lot of plates. And, you know, we'll see if they give credit for Teddy picking it up here, and if they ban it away.
Could be a Ziggs ban, and then we end up with Teddy on Kai'Sa. Okay, they're going to ban Kai'Sa instead, so...
End up with Teddy on Ziggs?
It could be. I mean, they could just still ban the Zeri here, but... If they ban, you know, a support pick or Senna, then maybe Henna locks Zeri, Teddy locks Ziggs. I like this comp way more for DRX than their Game 1 comp, if that's the direction we're heading. And unless they want to go MF here instead of Zeri, I think that is likely, in fact, where we are going. So we'll see. Henna has given it some thought, but there's the Zeri. Is Teddy going to play Ziggs? That's my expectation.
Yeah, if he doesn't play Ziggs...
Oh, no, Xayah into Cannon, the trap! No, Teddy, no! It's the Z champion, you know, same starting letter. Now type the E, the Gyuk, and finish the Jix. No, Valdez!
Yeah, this...
that win rate's lower than it was before, actually, when we were talking.
It is,
down to 20 now.
Xayah just hasn't been very good. And you're dealing, once again, with a couple of champs that are pretty good into it. But we can talk about this all day. We don't necessarily have to. A lot of choices being, you know, decided on here for Pleta. Looks like he will land on Alice Rel. Alice Rel.
How many games am I going to watch a Xayah into Kennen where you're going to avoid the first part of the CC, maybe you get away, but then the follow-up CC comes through? Either the Alistar or the Rakan are fantastic. I feel like Rakan is easier to play into the Xayah.
Or just Leona.
Alistar is good into Rel. Leona is obviously just a fine choice. You've got long-range engage set up with that. There's so many ways to set up Henna for success in these team fights, and Closer's a secondary 80 carry, so if you find one 80 carry, you have to deal with the second. Whereas, yes, DRX do have 2.5 with an R kind of element there, 80 carries in their draft, but one of them is extremely low range. One of them will get much more range as she gets levels. Same with the Gnar, weirdly enough, but the Gnar and the ways you have to play around the Ivern brushes, the setup that's required there, making sure your Gnar bar is set, doing all of this, like making sure Frog is in position, the Rel has to have the nice angle, your Xayah only has one R button. On the other side, they press R. Kennen's like, I'm flanking, I'm going in. Rakan's like, I'm going in.
He presses flash sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's a really simple comp on the side of BNK. I like the way that DRX started this one off. And I think if they had played the Ziggs and played slow and played patient that way, they can use the Ziggs to buy time. They can play around the map, but they went Xayah instead. And
yeah,
for me, that sank the whole draft.
Ziggs also very fantastic at peeling for himself and for the team, by the way. Or even if he goes down, he does like a ton of damage as they're coming at him. We thought Teddy knew. We thought he was based, but instead he's just playing Xayah. It's fine. We'll see if it works out. I mean, there's still a chance, right? Teddy, I'm sure he's a great Xayah player, but we as commentators not the happiest with it. As yep, pressing R here on the side of BNK, as it looks like we were just about ready to hop onto the Rift for game number 2. As we're gonna do it right now.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
So Valdez, I think Yundo did the math. He checked the Xayah win rate in LCK, Xayah versus Cannon, 14 and 17, so closer than you might expect. I think it's been more recent that has been something that we've really been harping on because it's been happening a lot this season when Xayah is picked. Xayah was 12 and 28 on the year before Guma played it. Now it is 12 and 29. 20% win rate this season. Not 100% sure the total games on that jumped down after that loss earlier today from 22, I believe.
Yeah, it gets pretty rough for AD carries because we just see so many bans, and we also oftentimes see the top side of the map chosen in the first half of the draft, so that you're kind of left with even more AD carry bans, and especially in this game as well because Leona wasn't banned. We had 4 extra AD carry bans with Caitlyn, Kaisa, Kalista, and Senna all banned away. So it's like, there's just really not that many options. I feel like in this meta you can play, what, Draven, Ziggs, Xayah, I guess. Jhin would be the other one, maybe. It's just not the huge slew of options that you normally have.
Yeah, it's another stat from Yunda. Yunda's dropping the stats today. 2020 Telecom War was the last time Xayah beat Kennen.
That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, 6 win streak currently for Kennen into the Xayah. But yeah, it's obviously the problem with Xayah is her ultimate is only short-lived, and so you can get out of the first part of the Ziggs ultimate, but the last part of it often will still get you, or you'll get caught by a Rakan afterwards anyways. And so while it does feel safe, and it's decent in the lane here, obviously, as we're seeing, it feels like such a trap pick. And what the Ziggs would have offered, I know I'm harping on this a lot, and I'm going to let it go in a minute, and then I'll talk about it when we get to team fights where Xayah gets killed by Ziggs ult. But what the Ziggs offered is...
the Kennen ult, right?
Yeah, sorry, the Kennen ult. When Ziggs is picked instead of Xayah, you know, can get some lane pressure, can get some plates, can go teleport, can get side laning done. Even if you're behind, you can generate gold pretty easily. If you're ahead, you can sometimes just win the game off of it. And it's been great into Zeri. And I thought that was, to me, the option. I mean, Teddy's played it well. You mentioned that as well. Like, that's a bit strange to me in this one that they didn't go for it. Maybe perhaps they think it's too vulnerable into all this engage. But, I mean, Xayah feels like she's not, but she is.
Yeah.
Because she's low range, so she's either not getting hit by it or she's not doing damage.
At the end of the day, what the Xayah will offer is a bit of safety in her ult, but also if, you know, the Rakan comes in, the Zeri tries to all in onto the Xayah, you've got ways to kind of disengage and get roots down and at least stay alive and not just get bombarded with damage. And, you know, just to shout out a little bit what the Xayah actually does. Very nice root to come through, and a shield and a bush. But Duro's here. It's going to be a nice buffer from the side of Yehu.
Yeah, pretty clean stuff. Pleta is also up here, so it's a big party in the mid lane, just like game 1. There's no Lee Sin this time. A little bit less action, but the shield, it's the lane gank that Ox always talks about annoys him when the jungle just kind of comes over there and annoys you. And you know he's not going to kill you or anything, but you're like, I was laning well, and this isn't fair. And that's kind of what happened there. Big party. Small advantage goes over to DRX as a result of it. They are at the moment, because of this big gap in the top lane, just a little bit of gold behind.
Yeah, that's, I feel like Clear, you know, when we first saw him, we weren't really sure and the team wasn't playing all that well. But he's really coming to his own. It feels like everything on the side of BNK is just doing really well individually, and they've also come together as a team, and it feels like maybe extra practice is leading to extra champions that can be played, which is giving a little bit more breathing room to Ryu in the drafts. I'm not going to get to talk about it because Clear, the guy I mentioned, is just going to get a solo kill under the turret before level 6. And there you go.
Probably didn't even need to flash there, but flashes for extra safety. And, you know, I mean, that's what we call a caster blessing. You know, not a caster curse. And he's... I mean, the man has improved massively, like you're saying. We were super worried about him because it looked like he was going down the brutal path, you know, of like overhyped into has a good start, but then kind of falls off. And he was in the fall off part, but now this year in particular, I feel like he's really lived up to our expectations for him based on how well he played in Challengers. Going to hit that Q out of the bush, and Frog is already, again, not having fun.
He just got here.
Yeah, now he's half health, and Clear has ult.
Yeah, well, at least Clear doesn't have Flash. I mean, but you don't necessarily need Flash to dive the turret, so we'll see if any junglers come up here to try to make the situation either better for Frog or potentially even worse, because if Raptor finds some free time with the turret, that's probably going to be much worse, as Duro is rooted for about 18 seconds and might die here as he is, oh, very nice dash into Flash to the right. Man, he's got the moves today.
Yeah, Duro just looks really good on Rakan, to be honest. And he's just very well-versed on this pick. Raptor will go unpunished here on his grub takes. Gets 2, actually gets the 3rd one there. Fortunately for Sponge, is unable to come over and assist. I think the setup there for top side was Clear has ult. It's really tough for us to contest grubs. Same read for Raptor. They've made the mid play, but not able to turn that into a collapse onto the grubs fast enough. They get Duro's flash and push him away, but still... BNK get the objective, and the Kennen still down Flash for a while, which is significant for what he can do in team fights, but if you just don't even fight, it doesn't necessarily matter. And now BNK have their eyes on this first dragon, the Infernal Drake here. winning on both sides of the map.
What did I just say, like 30 seconds
Yeah, now he's
ago?
got ult.
Yeah. Ivern is coming up here. Sponge is getting ready. And I think Frog's got a good idea that this is coming. They don't have any vision, but Ivern is hiding against the wall. And so I think he's going to try to help out in this one. They see Sponge. Do they care? It's only level 5 Ivern, to be honest. They might just kill Ivern. They're like, yeah, okay, cool. You saved your Gnar. We're just going to kill you instead.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sponge, was a little bit too far out there, and I think they expected this, and they knew that regardless of target, they'd be able to pick one off because they have the damage. I mean, it's just Sorc Shoes and an Amp Tome here for clear, but that's enough. And there's nothing, unfortunately, that an Ivern can do. Didn't have Daisy yet either. This is the previous play. Frog is at 1/3 health, and clear just comes over, sets up the stun. One more auto, flashes, he's scared of the ramping damage and the minions attacking him. Might have not had to do that, but either way, just flashes to be safe. And then here, Sponge is the target. Unfortunately, in W range, gets rooted and taken out. Raptor gets out of turret aggro. No punish. 2 kills to the cannon early. And Teddy's like, man, you're going to make my team fights a lot harder later. As that's the one place where you feel like you're having an okay time so far in this game. The Xayah is doing all right in lane, but everything else is a little bit on fire.
Yeah.
Mid lane's okay. Slightly on fire, but mostly fine.
Like some smoke, you know, it's like billowing. You're like, is that on fire? I don't know. I can't really
Raptor's
tell.
going to go over with a fan soon and start fanning it. But, you know, so far it's been Yahoo doing a decent job of... He's behind, has a call in his inventory. He'll be okay if nothing changes, but still not ideal.
Yeah. And at the end of the game, if DRX end up losing this one, they might just end up saying, bot lane didn't start the fire.
Yeah. It was always burning. Yeah.
It does feel like that sometimes, honestly. I mean, it's just the way it is. I think Teddy and Pleta have had a decent season, but, you know, a lot of changing parts in the top side. I said this at the top of the show. You know, Frog coming in and Yahoo returning, and they haven't necessarily had fantastic performances, so still trying to figure out what their permanent roster will be, and always changing parts will make things more difficult in terms of synergy and chemistry with the players and stuff. So we'll see how it develops.
Sponge, unfortunately, just not quite in range to set up for a root here. And that is going to be BNK getting the dragon. You know, it took them a while to take it. They weren't able to instantly grab it, like we were referencing earlier. Raptor hanging around topside, but now they grab it. And, you know, the cross map here is potentially in 30 seconds going to be Grubs, but guess what? Duro's heading over. Cannon has ult again, has flashback clear in just a few seconds he will. And it's going to be a tough fight to take there too, as Hannah is Zeri. See, I could do a play-by-play thing as well.
Yeah, there you go. That's what the play-by-play would say. We're like, here, let me take it from here. Hannah, he's in. No. Zeri, okay. It's like Asante sometimes. Oh, they're diving him. Oh, he just, yeah, he ulted away under the turret, or away from the turret. It's just the way it goes sometimes. We have first item Locket here for Raptor. I'm seeing this more often.
Yeah, you like to see that. You know, going to help his Zeri in team fights. And Raptor's coming up here, clearing this vision. I think they want to fight with this cannon over the Grubs. Frog's Gnar is now down, and so is a third of his health bar. This is going to be a tricky one for DRX. Their jungler does not offer a whole lot of util except those brushes, which aren't going to stay in their control for very long with saplings coming through. Well, the great thing about Maokai and Ivern is you just toss saplings in there.
You can't fight this DRX. Go the other way. Okay, they're going to try to punish Closer here, but he is Corky. He'll just Valkyrie. And yeah, I mean, look at this. Clear's just hunting down Frog. The flash and the follow flash comes through from Clear. He's going to shut that down. Another solo kill for Clear. This guy is just kind of insane nowadays.
Hannah just ults to clear the wave, knowing that Pleta and Sponge were missing and there was a possibility he was going to get dove. He's able to clear the wave and then get out of there. Raptor cleans up the Grubs, 6 Grubs to BNK. They got the first dragon. They are getting everything, and it's all in the back of this cannon that's so far ahead. Part of it on his own, part of it due to Raptor's gank, but Clear is almost upset that he didn't get POG. It feels like he is really just pushing the issue in this one, as see Frog's almost standing out of his chair there for a second on the player cam. He is not really playing game 2 right now, and I don't know if he's going to be starting anytime soon, as everybody's camping the topside turret so he can just get more and more plates.
Now, Raptor was spotted coming in here. There was a ward actually right below him there, but it doesn't really matter, right? He's just able to back away. There's no punish that comes through from DRX seeing this, and it's just more plates that go into the hands of the Kennen, who already has Leandri's finished.
Yeah, 6 grubs worth of extra damage really just allows him to secure those plates so quick.
야 나를 집 테러를 한다. 일단 집 한번
I'm gonna go get Nar. You guys focus over there.
야 나를 살짝 볼게 여기서.
I'm gonna look for Nara. Look at how he understands exactly the vision as well.
Yep, splashes on him.
나왔다.
Got him.
나를
Clear,
버리고.
man. In his walking in Leandri's, in his recent weeks, man, he's really become quite the top laner. I love seeing as well, like the confidence he exudes that I feel like a lot of our challengers players initially when they come into the LCK take some time to get, like Lucid as well as Henna is Zeri.
Yeah, Magnus Storm, he's got Cleanse and Flash. I think he's fine. And, yep. Good play-by-play, Wolf.
Yeah, he got a little dash in there, you know?
Yeah, he dashes away, and yeah, that's the end of the fight. We do have a little bit of a trade as Teddy is trying to get some plates as they bully Henna out of the lane, but they just lost a full turret of plates in the top lane. End Closer's just winning the matchup naturally in the 1v1 against Yehu.
Yeah, despite the nerfs to Corki's health, still doing well there. Duro does have ult and flash. Should be respectful of this, but they have the numbers advantage until Raptor shows up. If they stick around too long though, this could be a punish opportunity. Henna doesn't have flash, but does have his ult available, and they really want to try to hard force this.
Yeah, here comes the Henna ult. Says, okay, you're not hard forcing this.
I mean, look at Closer.
happening.
He's taking the long wraparound. They may still set up for a fight here. He's going to back out. Just don't have the angle they want. The Scuttle Crab too annoying to avoid, and obviously Yehu's calling missing Corki, so Mooney's just going to come over here and say, well, I'm not missing anymore.
Yeah.
Still here.
And there's no items finished for the mid laners, but it's just over and over Closers winning the trades. As the Corki in this matchup used to do pretty well. You know, sometimes we saw Tristana's winning. But now, especially after the Tristana buffs, it's like, well, or nerfs rather, it's like, well, Corki's just the supreme king of the mid lane unless you pick a straight counter. And they're going to take that mid turret as well.
I don't think that B&K should look to fight here. All they have to do is neutralize the pressure here because top one lane, and with Grubs wins turret. Mid wins lane, and with Grubs takes turret. And then bottom side, you lose lane, but then it's neutralized by Raptor being here. And Duro having flash and his ultimate. So you don't want to force the fight, but you don't lose anything. Yehu may stop this back. Actually, Sponge does, but I mean, this is a dragon going over. You got 2 turrets. The gold lead here is, you know, it's pretty significant. It's 3,400 right now, 3,300 give or take. 2 dragon lead, 6 grubs. It's Chemtech Soul, so there's that.
You know, you actually talked about this in the first series game 2 where Genji had immaculate vision control over T1 and there wasn't really anything that T1 could do to get into the river. The Chem Bloom? That's not what they're called. The big scryer plants,
Yeah.
right? With the Chemtech
Mega Scryer
Rift.
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, Mega Scryer. They just cut out so much vision. Like, even if you try to get some vision, or even if you hit it, it's like, well, we can't enter the river, we can't do anything. So even if they don't like the Drakes, maybe B&K Fearx will like the vision control they get.
Yeah. Yehu is going to get, because he's Tristana here, and they've indexed into this bottom side a bounty turret. Clear.
Oh no. Not Frog again going down. Yep, the Shuriken's gonna hit him. Raptor was even there. Where's Duro? He's also there.
Yeah, he's there.
They didn't need anyone except Clear.
Nah, Clear's like, well, we just lost a turret because you guys, this is a bad macro play, but I'll take the kill. Thank you. Thank you guys for being there for me for moral support, but maybe you guys should have defended bottom. But it's cool. It's another turret.
It's just hilarious to watch Duro just like swinging by with quickness up. Like, what's he even doing there?
Yeah. Yehu?
Yeah, we got a little 1v1. Plata was coming over, but not gonna amount to too much.
With this Rakan skin, like, for just a split second of my brain, I was like, there's a Bel'Veth coming? Like, it just looks so weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he just gets soloed, and the frogs are known to be preyed upon by, you know, some predators in bushes. Clear's
Yes.
one of them.
Duro, that Celestial opposition, really doing a lot of work for him there. He's actually going to get away. And that is one of the things that the Rakan does better than some of the other choices we were considering in the draft, like the Leona or the Alistair. He can get in, but he can also get out really well.
Yeah, I was going to mention this earlier, but I kind of forgot, lost train of thought, as Clear got another kill instead.
Yeah.
He went Shadow Flame second. He has it at 17 minutes.
Yeah.
He will just press R at the enemy team and win the fight.
Kind of in the middle of nowhere here, and Teddy, yeah, he just realized once again that is Zeri, in fact. That's happened like 4 times this game as well. It's like, oh, Henna, is he? Oh, he's Zeri.
Yeah,
totally fine.
Yahoo may try to punish this with Fleta.
It's pretty hard to with Raptor this tanky.
Yeah, if you have a Poppy, sometimes you can do something with that, but they don't really have. I mean, he had the crash down stun, but not able to follow up, as you say. We'll watch this moment again.
맞아.
What does he say?
뭐야?
What?
He's like, he's dead already? Like, question mark things? I came for the demolish proc, yeah.
Yeah. Value.
That's a funny moment for sure. I think everybody's on the same page. That's one of those moments that transcends language, you know. The VN cast are probably also talking about it, you know. All right, Yahoo's out of here. This is going to be some aggressive vision control with some mega blooms and
mega scryers.
Yeah. Look at him scrying all the vision away.
Yeah, it just makes it even easier to clear all the vision.
And you know what else it makes it easier for with that oppressive vision is to have teleport wards for your Kennen that has a Shadow Flame who could then get into the back line and test the theory of is Xayah good into Kennen.
I don't want to test it again, Wolf.
I mean,
don't make me test it again.
Teddy is, I feel like, the one player. Teddy and Yahoo are trying to do things this game. You know, they've been relevant. They've been holding their own. Like, yes, Yahoo was losing lane, but he was able to side lane, grab a bounty turret. You know, he's been holding his own. He's been farming. He's going to get his second item fairly soon. Teddy is trying to all in into Henna, you know, forcing him back. Obviously, it's Zeri, so he keeps getting away, but, you know, he's got his second item now, so maybe there's a world where if Teddy pops off or there's the right angle or they have the right brush setup and the Narbar is perfect and the blooms don't take away all their vision and Kennen doesn't get a big 4-man ult and maybe it's not a Maokai route that stops him from playing the game, then maybe they could win the game, Valdez. I think there's potentially an angle. Teddy and Yahoo are trying. They both got their Kraken Slayers.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, they got their Fidget Spinners.
Yeah.
And it's a 2-item situation. 2 items only for the Corki, 2 items only for Zeri. Don't pay attention to that rat up in the top lane. No, he's up here. He's in the top lane. I'll have to watch him. He's just a little rat, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cadril's still co-streaming, but you know, like maybe he's maybe they'll get excited about it. But for me, I'm not promising. Look, there's no teleport wards to the left of the dragon. Okay, there's one in the Raptor pit and in the mid lane.
We refer to Kennen as a rat. Why don't we ever treat Gnar the same way? I guess because he goes into Mega form. I figured it out. Yeah, so we have a Baron start here at 20 minutes.
Duro's on the flank.
Yeah.
Clear's on the
the Mega Cone to get away, to get an even better angle? They're trying to get in here. We can't even really see the bar of the Baron health, and yeah, they're just going to look for the turn. I feel like they could have just taken the Baron, but instead they're just going to go super deep because guess what? It's VNK DRX, and they're just going to pull the trigger, and they're just going to run at their opponents as a massive ult comes in from the realm, but it just doesn't matter because we're just watching the rat looking and testing the theory. Oh no, Wolf, we tested it again, and the same result came out again.
I mean, Teddy, I would love to see the damage to, or, you know, the damage per champion in last team fight. You know, damage to champions graph, full up. Because Teddy played very well in terms of positioning. He was very far back, didn't get caught by the Rakan, wasn't caught by the Kennen until the fight was kind of cleared up. He didn't use his teleport to get in there, he just walked over, so now he's going to teleport back to lane and get more farm because he wants his death cap as soon as possible. But, I mean, he might go Zhonya's, but death cap is the cool way to do it when you have 6 kills. I mean, Teddy here, he's like, I can't reach him. And I can't reach. I'm running away. Oh, they see me. I'm out of here. The Rakan comes in. How many autos does Teddy do in the fight? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, he's got his power. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He almost killed Raptor. Uh-oh, here comes the rat. Ulted it. Still stunned. Still dead.
Yep.
To be fair, that rat's big, but, I mean, it's not the answer.
It's a strong rat.
Yeah,
yep.
it's not just the Kennen he's got to deal with.
Death cap. on the way.
Yeah, he's got double rod.
Red Bull Baron power play.
And they're needlessly big, Valdez!
Why are they so big? Nobody knows the answer except Riot.
I've lost my mind.
Yeah, it's one of those games. I mean, this would be a perfect game, even in New Age perfect game. Maybe not with the plates, but the one turret went down, and that's it.
Thanks, Yahoo.
Yeah, there was, 6 grubs, Rift Heralds, all the dragons. Most of the turrets going the way of BNK Fear-X. And now we're ganking Frog again.
파랑 팀의 포탑이
Or he is
파괴되었습니다.
checking to see if
Where's
they're
he
in the
going?
base. He's like, is there anyone in their base? Closer is not going to interact with him, but it is going to be Soul Point finally. This has been up for a while, but now B&K are going to take it after winning some fights, getting Baron, and they don't want to push their advantage too hard. They don't want to go too deep and get punished, so they will just take the last part of this. These waves, grab Dragon, and reset.
Oh, he's not even going Arm Guard. What is Clear going next?
Lich Bane, I guess? Or Cosmic Drive. Yeah, Cosmic Drive. Yeah, Cosmic Drive. Lich Bane would be fun.
It's a really good item on Kennen, but also Stasis is also pretty good.
But when they can't hurt you and you hurt them,
Yeah.
you really need to hide.
I guess not. He does have one Mountain Drake.
This rat doesn't have a mouse hole.
You know what he has? Is he has so many levels. And that was actually pointed out very well by the production, just the lead, but also the fact that he's level 16.
Yeah.
Just gives him so many stats. Like, he's actually so tanky.
I mean, the Ether Wisp alone is movement speed for him, too.
Yeah. So just avoid the damage and just kill the enemy.
Well, it's okay, because DRX have exhaust. They'll slow. Oh, they don't have that.
Wait. I just realized.
Yeah, they
Why don't they have exhaust?
Because Teddy wanted to all-in Henna in the lane with barrier.
Well, that's a problem.
He has his R button. He doesn't need exhaust.
That's the problem. I don't think the exhaust would have changed the way this game played out, but I think it is something you need into Kennen.
Kennen does a lot of damage to turrets when he has this much ability power.
Yeah, you know what would help that? Lich Bane.
He might buy it. I mean, it's still on the cards.
I mean, it's not bad. You get your combo off, you attack, and it does a nice chunk of damage. You're going to be attacking anyway. You got to land that, empowered auto and stuff like that.
The most stressful part of this for B&K is to see if they can finish the game without losing anybody.
Yeah. They're playing it very carefully.
Stacking the waves very well. It's actually clean play here from B&K. They're going to get all 3 inhibitors.
Super clean today. I mean, this is some of the cleanest league we've had all week.
Yeah.
There's nothing that DRX can do. They're just suffocated. They don't get to play the game.
There's no way out. I mean, they're going to put some Ivern bushes up to delay it. That's it. That's the plan. That's the play.
I guess so. And Duro is very tanky. They found, Duro and Henna, who just flashed away from it. Pletta's dead. Duro might go down. Yes, he will. So a trade of supports, but you haven't dealt with the rat. And Frog's going to ult into closer, as now we got an angle here for Yehu, who's trying to do damage, but it's just going to be the Gnar to fall. The turrets are down already. The Gnar comes in, or rather the Kennen comes in, and it doesn't do anything. Might kill Teddy here. Yeah, that Shuriken just one-shot him through the shield. And that's going to do it for game number 2 and for this series. BNK Fear-X with the clean 2-0.
2 very fast games, both sub 30. I think both like sub 27. Very, very quick games, very dominant. Second game so suffocating. First game, I think a little bit more of a bash over the head type of suffocation where they were just constantly setting up picks for the Lee Sin. But Clear had a fantastic series. Both games they looked really good. And in this game, he took over the game with help of Raptor. It was Raptor and Clear, and also Raptor and Closer, right? The Soul Laners and Raptor playing very well. And this area was just the absorption lane. And Raptor, he prevented that from being on fire as well. And great macro plays just in general. I feel like DRX, the game 1 draft was kind of a disaster. The game 2 draft was risky. But the one power point they had was the bottom side, and it was shut down. And then there was just not much they could do as Frog really had a bit of a rough one. And B1, Gnar is not free. We've solved it. I feel like it's been shown many times. But DRX, I mean, they had to lean on something.
They did. Unfortunately today, it didn't work out very well. Clear is definitely one of those guys. He's at least developing into one of those guys that will punish you. You remember that Renekton game where he just kind of ran at his opponents?
Yeah.
and did not care what they were doing. Like, it was so ridiculous because that's not the way pro league is even played. But he will get leads in the individual 1v1, and he will use the gold very well to just play more aggressively and to get even farther ahead, which is exactly what he did in this game.
I know we've all had our champions that we dislike as individual members of the global team, like Shyvana, or Atlas doesn't like Jhin, you know, these types of things. Xayah might be mine right now, and I'm sorry if it annoyed anyone about how much I talked about it, but I think that it did have the one angle of winning bottom lane, but Raptor did such a good job of making sure that didn't happen, and they couldn't set up for dives, and it's Ivern, right, so they couldn't get anything done there. And I don't think this draft was as bad as the first one, even though there was a Xayah in it. But it's another loss in a streak of losses, and it's not the first time Teddy's played this. I think it was 0-2, if I'm not mistaken, on this.
They beat Bro.
얘네 래플 도는.
Yeah, I mean, look,
They stopped the streak.
I think that we need to look, I think DRX needs to look inwardly at some of the drafting that we saw today, because I think that there was some better choices that they didn't make, and this is the final fight.
왜 잡았어 왜 잡았어? 라칸 나와봐 라칸 나와.
나
And
죽었어.
Comms here fairly clean.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm dead.
나는 녹음 자야 녹음.
나를 볼게 나를.
Get Gnar, get Xayah.
빼면서 빼면서.
일단 자야 녹음이야.
As it back out, as we like, kind of kite back and kill Gnar,
Xayah no ult.
자야 녹음 너플.
and no flash.
자야.
얘 봐줘 얘 봐줘.
Calling for Xayah, Raptor punches him back.
나이스.
Nice.
나 1킬만 더. 나 0킬 모임.
나 1데스 모임.
He's like, why do I have 0 kills?
Yeah. What's up with me having 0 kills? Yeah, this was a unfortunate orange buff situation.
Yep. And this time, just a natural one-on-one orange buff. You know, didn't even need the jungler really. Like, Raptor came over and helped a little bit eventually, but
If you guys don't know the orange buff meme, it's a 2021 meme where Camille kills Gnar a lot, and Twisted Fate, Camille kills Gnar a lot. We joke that the Gnar, if it's the first kill of the game, gives 400 gold. That's what the orange buff gives. Otherwise, 300 gold, and then subsequently less, depending on how many times you take it. This was one of those games where he just got the cannon fed, and it was a great play towards the top side. Pretty straightforward, Valdez, this series.
Yep, very clean from the side of BNK. Only good things to come, I would say, for this team as we are done here on the cast.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jisun for the POG interview translation, and we are here joined by Raptor and Clear on the side of BNK DRX, who just got a successful 2-0 victory up against DRX. Congratulations on the win, guys. Raptor, you successfully avenged your round 1 defeat against DRX. The total game time for both games combined was 47 minutes and 46 seconds, not even an hour. How do you feel about the dominant win today? I'm very satisfied with the fact that we managed to get a very clean win, and I think today was a little bit of a checkup for our final form of the season, and I'm pretty content. Yeah, because we lost a match last week, I was a little bit worried about our momentum, but I think we successfully bounced back. Heading into round 2, you guys actually picked up 4 match wins out of 5 in round 2. What do you think is the secret behind your team's improvement? I've always thought that our team had a big potential. I think we finally started to bloom. Raptor, in the first game, you picked Lee Sin for the first time and showed an excellent performance, earning the POG. You and Closer formed a strong 1-2 punch combo. Are you happy with your mid-jungle duo synergy? Today, Closer did a fantastic work, so that also helped me play better as well. Now let's watch the double kill play happen around the mid lane. So you're pretty confident about the 1v1 into Shyvana, I guess? Yeah, I already had my item completed, and as long as I can land my Q, I didn't see any bad angle. Well, at that moment, I was not able to look at what was happening on the mid lane, but I could tell that looking at all the kill logs, my team were winning, so I was really, really happy. And I want to know your thoughts about Shyvana. Everyone is talking about it right now. So if Shyvana is being picked in the perfect kind of situation and surroundings, it's a nice pick. But it's just hard to have the situation in your hand, you know? Like, you have to draft around Shyvana, which is not easy to execute, to be honest. Clear. Your performance has been outstanding recently. It feels like you have leveled up so much. How would you like to rate your current performance? I can say it's okay, but I still have a long way to go. I mean, his performance is stellar, but I believe in him that he can even do better. Well, the game 2, it was all about the cannon from start to finish, so here's a reel of your solo bolo on the top lane. Would you like to break it down for us? I think I was able to build for that first solo kill by trading in the laning phase, so it was a great start. And then after that, I was able to, keep getting more kills. But I think the most important kill was the first initial kill. Raptor, as a jungler, Clear's performance must have been very, very reliable, right? Yeah, because he just kept on picking up solo kills after solo kills, so it was a very comfortable game for us as a jungler. So I thank you. So BNK FearX added a valuable win towards the playoffs, and next week we'll be up against D+ Kia and Kwangdong Freaks. What are your expectations? Both are looking really strong, so I think we're just gonna find out on the match day. I think the remaining schedule is a little bit tough, but in order to make it to the playoffs and even go further, I think we have to kind of overcome this. So I want to give it our all in order to keep improving. Lastly, anything would you like to say to the fans? I really appreciate all the support coming from my fans, and we will keep up the good work. I was really grateful for the fact that all of our fans are supporting us throughout the hard times as well. So thank you so much, and your support today was also very, very supportive. Thank you. And this will be the end of the POG interview, and back to the space. Thank you.